Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, today, I have over here what I want in a premium guitar. Alright? Now, as you know, I'm trying to buy a premium guitar. I looked at Gibson's offerings, I was just like, nah, no good, right? Took a look at PRS offerings, and then I was like, you know what? Before I continue looking, I should really just write down what it is that I'm actually looking for. You know what I mean? So that instead of just like looking around aimlessly, you know what I mean, right? Now, I got inspired by the Eastman series of single cuts. I was looking at it and say, yeah, that's basically what I want. You know, a piece of wood with premium components on it, and I see that they have some pretty good stuff, all right? So basically this is kind of what I'm going on. But I also, there's like some construction aspects that I would like as well. And guys, I do not do myths and like superstitious beliefs and things like that. I'm a man of practicality, It's like, don't give me no like, oh, it's like this. And I'm like, well, I don't see it. But just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not like that. I'm just like, where do people get these ideas from anyway? So I'll say more about that as I progress. Okay, so I would like a single cut. All right, kind of like what McCarty invented, as it says here, McCarty, right? Something like this. Right? Why? Because it reminds me the most of what a guitar is. Like back then, before there was all this stuff, guitars were just, that shape, got a hole in it and some strings. Everyone's guitar looked like that, Sure, a slight variations, but it looks like a guitar. Right? Now, I mean, like, they have stuff out there that does not look like a guitar. They have like a flying A shape or some weird looking and then some convoluted, contorted looking, I'm just like, what the heck? That's just like someone's like nut job idea of what a piece of wood should look like. But in essence, a guitar that is electric is a solid piece of wood, and it doesn't matter what the shape is. But I do like the classic guitar shape, which is why I'm going to go with this here single cut design. Single cut so I can reach down further instead of like the standard guitar shape. All right, so for the wood, I'm looking for maple neck, right? Rosewood fretboard and mahogany body. Now maple, right? I like maple because I used to play a lot of pool, like 8-ball, 9-ball, right? And my cue shafts were always made out of Canadian hard maple. And maple is such a good wood, the grain's nice and tight, the wood's nice and smooth. I enjoy maple, so maple is gonna be. Rosewood fretboard, it's like the classic stuff, so why not? And mahogany body, seems like, they're all made out of mahogany, so I don't really have a preference. Like, it could have been like a solid maple, you know what I mean? Or mahogany with a maple cap, whatever, it doesn't matter to me, right? As long as it's okay. Just a side note over here, because I forgot to say earlier, that it doesn't matter if it's 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 piece, 4 piece, as long as the centerpiece that, that has the pickups and the strings on it is 1 piece there. Side pieces, I don't really care because it doesn't really matter. All right, so that being said, I also do not like this corner sticking out of the back. And so, a lot of guitars out there, they got like a little smooth transition. So it's gotta have that because this thing just gets on my nerve. The little corner of, this ridiculous corner. So anyway, back to the video. It's okay, not too heavy, okay. Now for the maple neck, I want a scarf joint, right? Because this design over here, I don't know how many times I'm gonna lift this paper up, right? Got a neck angle that's like, pretty steep. And that stuff breaks, guys, if it's in a one-piece design. Like, yeah, I can understand it's easier to just carve it out of one piece of wood if you don't have like the exact things, because then if you make a scarf joint, you gotta plane both surfaces perfectly to match, and that's not easily done without the aid of machines. Like, because back then there were no machines, right? People had to cut things with like chisels and handheld saws. But yeah, for those who don't know why Gibson necks break all the time, I'll show you with these things here. Coffee stirrers, right? Now imagine these are grains of wood, right? If everything's lined up like this, right, it's strong, right? Now what holds these pieces of grains of wood together is not that strong, right? So once you start bending it this way, oops, I dropped one, guys. Ah, I dropped two, guys. All right, here we go, right? Once you start bending it this way, right? There you go. Bam. It breaks, right? Because that's just not, that's just the weak side of the wood, which is why they invented plywood, so that the grains are perpendicular to each other, and in that way it will all support one another. Right? It's like the same thing about how those karate people, they can chop a piece of wood, it just breaks apart at the grain, right? So I'll just draw what I'm talking about on the back of Orville, right on his back, literally. All right, so here we go. You got the grain nice and strong. Then comes this part over here. Now the grains is like very short, and then you're kind of breaking it like my example, right? And not only that, they have to go and drill like a big hole in it for the truss rod. And it's like, dude, really? Like that's the weakest design ever. That's a horrible design, right? So the scarf joint, right? You got wood like this, so we're good, right? It uses the wood grain to its benefit, and there's no difference in sound or anything like that. Again, I don't do myths, right? So you have to have a scarf joint. If it's gonna be like a not too much of an angle, then one piece is fine. But if it's gonna be a bend like that, I want a scarf joint. Because I don't want to have to go and, go repairing the neck and ridiculous stuff like that. All right, moving on. I want a bolt-on guitar, right? Some of my guitars are bolt-on. There's no difference, right? Except that there's addition of the bolt piece and 4 bolts and stuff like that. I figure that, if I want to change the neck, I can. It's like how those Fender people change necks around. I would like to do that, so bolt on it is. Alright, the finish. None of that nitro baloney, okay? Nitro is baloney, alright? I want a guitar that is durable. I know that other people are like, well, it depends on what you really want. If you want a finish that gets worn in and turn yellow and cracks, because they enjoy that sort of stuff, it's like, fine. People got different things they like, and that's perfectly fine. I myself don't think that that's something I want for myself in anything I buy. I don't want a phone that comes with a cracked screen. I don't want shoes that has holes in it. I don't want umbrella that leaks. To me, it's just really stupid. But to each their own, because it doesn't change the tone. Doesn't make a difference. All right. So now for the parts, I already have a set of Grover, like vintage Keystone looking things in my box somewhere. So I'll probably be using that. Right? I would want the Seymour Duncan 59s, simply because that's what Eastman put into their the thing that would have gotten, except for the MaxiPad headstock. Now about Seymour Duncan, it's just a certain thing about it, like the people I enjoy who are the professional players of music, if they use Gibson guitars, for some reason they throw away the Gibson pickups and they install Seymour Duncans. Now I don't know why they do that, but
Hey, they do that, so I might as well just get some Seymour Duncans. Why not? It's not too expensive. We're looking at $99 a piece. And not only that, the guy looks like he can make a mean pot of beef stew.
right? So Seymour Duncan 59, CTS pots, switchcraft switch, orange drop capacitors, and things like that. Now, as for the bridge and the stop tail piece, I don't care. As long as it's good, I'm good. You know, it's because it's a solid chunk of metal. You know, does it have to be gold toe? I could. You know, I mean, the price is not that much more. So, yeah, whichever. All right. So, I think I've gone over all that I want. Obviously, scale length to be somewhere between 24 and a half, 25 inches. 6 strings. And oh yeah, the truss rod. I want double action. Not that vintagey single one that Gibson puts into their guitars, and companies that try to copy Gibson put into their guitars. It's an inferior truss rod. You want one that can bend both ways. That way, if you need to, you can bend it the other way. You know, I mean, like, what are the chances of you needing it? Who knows? But I like to have the option, right? Mine as well, since since it's a trust rod anyway. All right, so that's it, guys. The search begins. Thank you for watching the video. Have a good one. Put it in the comments below.